I woke up to the sound of a big diesel truck shaking my window like a giant knocking on the glass. It was still half dark outside, and the clock said 6:05 a.m. In the driveway sat Carl Weaver's old pickup, wide, dented, and parked sideways, so I could not get my own car out. Carl had done this every weekday for 6 long weeks. That morning, lying in bed while the engine rattled my teeth, I decided he would not block me again. Sycamore Lane looked peaceful, trimmed hedges, clean, sidewalks, pastel houses. I bought the blue house at the end because it felt calm. Back then, Carl was just another face, a middle-aged man in army caps who washed his truck on Saturdays. We waved, but never talked. The peace ended when a hired landscaper bumped Carl's rusty mailbox. Carl exploded on the neighborhood Facebook page, typing in angry capital letters. He said nosy neighbors were out to ruin him. The HOA board held an emergency meeting that night in my living room. They hoped Carl would calm down on neutral ground. He did not. As the last person left, Carl leaned close to me and hissed, "Touch my truck, and I'll make your life tiny." Next dawn, he showed me his plan. He parked across my driveway so tight the back bumper nearly touched my garage door. I work from home in tech support, so at first I shrugged. But each morning, the truck kept coming, blocking me in, coughing exhaust into my flowers. I took photos and video for proof and walked to the HOA office. The officer behind the desk read rule books, but only said, "We don't settle neighbor fights." I tried being nice. I left a $20 car wash coupon under Carl's wiper with a polite note. "Please give me room to back out." "Thanks." The next morning he idled extra long, pointing his tailpipe at my hydrangeas until the leaves turned grey. My partner, Elle, found me wiping soot off petals that evening. "Carl wants a fight," I muttered. Elle raised one eyebrow. "The way she does before smart ideas arrive." "Then give him one he can't predict," she said. Elle and I hunted through the HOA rulebook. Deep inside Section 4, Subsection 9, we found gold. No noise above 65 decibels from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. A quick phone app told us Carl's truck idled at 75 decibels, even louder when he revved it. We called this Plan Quiet. Monday, before dawn, I moved my small hybrid car to a neighbor's curb so my driveway looked empty. I set 2 bright lights in the garage and a GoPro camera with a blinking red dot. I also held a handheld decibel meter. At 6:10 a.m., Carl's truck groaned into place. He saw the tripod and frowned. "What's all this?" he barked. I spoke like a friendly librarian. "Noise check for the HOA." The meter flashed 71 dB, even with his engine off. 3 strikes equals a fine, I added, waving the rule sheet. Carl cursed, restarted his truck, now 83 dB on the meter, and moved down the street. "You're dead, man," he muttered, while walking to his porch. I smiled and said, "Strike 1. We repeated the scene Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Each day I said, "Strike 2, strike 3, and so on." On Thursday afternoon, the HOA president, Ms. Caldwell, mailed him official tickets. 4 violations, $750 total. The next morning was silent. No diesel growl. I thought we won until my phone pinged. Carl had posted fuzzy night pictures of my garage lights on Facebook, calling them illegal cameras harassing a disabled vet. Half the neighbors believed him, half did not. Quietly, I dropped my full HD video under his post. It showed clear sound numbers and his truck roaring. The group admin closed the thread for false claims. With Carl's online bluff broken, we started Plan Respect. Saturday at 2 a.m., Elle and I placed 4 orange traffic cones at the foot of the driveway and painted big white letters, "Reserved for respect." Sunrise came. Carl's headlights lit up the cones. He stopped and waited, engine idling. I stepped out in slippers, holding tea. "Quiet hours last 10 more minutes," I said. He stared at the sign, then backed up and parked in front of his own house. He stomped inside without a word. 3 days passed with no trouble. My hope grew. then shattered. On Wednesday, I returned from groceries to find my new mailbox smashed and tire tracks across my lawn. Cold anger rose inside me. Carl had escalated. I phoned my college friend Dana, who owns Bulldog Towing. "Can you move a big F-250 owned by a giant toddler?" I asked. She laughed. "Got paperwork?" "Working on it," I said. First, I needed HOA power. That evening, I brought cookies to Ms. Caldwell and handed her a USB drive of every video, photo, and the wrecked mailbox. I pointed to Article 7, nuisance abatement. It lets the HOA fix problems and charge the owner. Ms. Caldwell's eyes lit up. "We've waited years for someone to stand up to him," she whispered. Friday at 4 p.m., a bright pink notice appeared on Carl's windshield. "Vehicle will be towed in 48 hours for nuisance behavior." Kids on bikes circled the truck like it was a circus elephant. Carl knocked on my door so hard it rattled dishes. Elle opened with her phone camera rolling. Carl's face was purple. "You think you can steal my truck?" he yelled. Elle's voice stayed calm. "Your truck steals our peace." I stepped beside her. "Replace my mailbox, pay the HOA fines, and promise never to block a driveway again. Do that, and the tow is cancelled." Carl muttered, "Fine," and spat. "If my truck disappears, so will you." Next morning, Carl installed a fancy new mailbox, black metal with silver scrolls, and posted a stiff apology online. He even swept Mrs. Delgado's sidewalk. A week of quiet followed. Birds chirped, children played. I dared to feel safe. But bullies crave an audience. 2 Mondays later, my phone buzzed during a Zoom prep call. Carl's truck sat not in my driveway, but on my front lawn. Lights flashing, country music blasting. The windows in my living room shook. I ran outside. He grinned and revved the engine. I dialed 911. Police arrived fast. The officer, an Army Reserve member, was not impressed by Carl's disabled vet excuses. She wrote tickets for trespass, noise, and property damage. She photographed the deep ruts in my grass and said I could sue for costs. That night, Elle and I drafted a small claims suit. Repairs for the lawn, the mailbox, the hydrangeas, and money for loss of peaceful enjoyment. Court date: 5 weeks. Those weeks changed Sycamore Lane. Parents told children to stay away from Truckman. Neighbors crossed the street rather than nod hello. Even Carl's old supporters grew tired of his drama. The hearing day felt like winter, though the calendar said May. I wore my best suit. LA carried a binder labeled Evidence. Carl arrived late, eyes red, hat in hand. We showed the judge clear videos. The truck blocking my drive, the meter above 70 dB, the crushed mailbox, the ruined lawn. Carl's defense was weak, just stories about misunderstandings. Judgment: $4,200, plus court fees payable in 30 days or by wage garnishment. Outside the courthouse, Carl sat on the steps, shoulders drooped. I walked by without a word. He needed to sit with his choices. Weeks passed. The check arrived. We fixed the lawn, added fresh hydrangeas, and installed a smooth metal gate that lifts by keypad. Carl sold the loud truck to pay the judgment. Smaller, quiet SUV took its place, parked neatly in his own drive. One evening in early fall, a cardboard box waited on my porch. Inside were 2 bright yellow parking curbs and a note. "To help mark what's yours, sorry for everything. See." I set the curbs at the driveway's edge. Their reflective strips flash like stars when night traffic passes. Neighbors often ask how I beat the nightmare neighbor. They expect stories of fists or secret deals. I tell them the truth. I used our shared rules as a mirror. When Carl saw his own actions reflected, he could not stand them. In a loud world, a quiet plan travels far. Today, the dawn on Sycamore Lane is soft. No engines shake windows, no smoke harms flowers. I back out each morning, wave to neighbors who linger to chat, and watch Carl's SUV resting harmlessly on its own concrete. The best victory was not noise or fury. It was steady, patient pressure, so simple anyone can use it. And with each silent sunrise, I remember, a driveway is more than pavement. It is freedom to move, to breathe, to live without fear that someone bigger will block your path. That freedom is mine again, and the hush outside my window is the sweetest sound in the world.